All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day two of Math 133. Today we're going to be covering Chapter 2, Project 1, and we'll be working on that together. I did want to point out that the recordings for our Zoom from Tuesday are under day one. Okay, so if for some reason you weren't here, missed that, make sure you watch those. Okay, anytime that you miss the class, it's a good idea to watch those Zoom sessions, those recordings. Okay, and you can watch either one. It's the same information, so just because you're in the morning class doesn't mean you necessarily have to watch the morning one. If for some reason there's only one there, that's fine. You can just watch that one. There's times where like I'll I record both the morning session and the evening session, and there's times where like I'm like, oh man, I forgot something or I screwed that up. The morning session went better, and I'll I'll just leave the morning one there, or vice versa with the evening, where like sometimes I'll, you know, do better the second time. But if they're both there, you don't have to watch both. Okay. Um, if you were at the evening class, there was one thing that I forgot to mention, and that was so I did mention that you want to keep up on your work. Okay, there's a lot of work in this class, and it's easy to fall behind. I totally mentioned that, and I also mentioned that I will accept late work. It'll be 1 point off for each day that it is late, up until 3 weeks. Okay, but the thing I forgot to mention was that if you don't turn something in for a 2 week period, um, then you'll be dropped from the class. I mentioned if you were in the morning class, you probably heard me say that, but so if you get dropped from the class and you want, it was a mistake, you need back in, you can contact us. We can get you back in. Okay. But we, if you're, you know, if you just start ghosting us, we don't want your GPA to reflect badly that, if because you're not going to end up passing the class. So you get dropped. Um, anyway, today that was day one though. So today is day two. The project you'll see, it's due on January 20th, which is next week on Tuesday, but we're going to work on it together today. So you'll have it done and you can submit it right after this, right after class is over, okay? Using your scanner app on your phone, okay? Or sorry, no, actually, most of the projects are going to be in Google Documents. So you'll not use your scanner app for this one. You'll use it for the Chapter 2 review worksheet that we're going to cover next week, um, which is on paper. Today's project is not in your course pack. There's I'll show you where it is, but the lecture notes are, so you have notes for 2.3. There's also notes for how to do some of these Google Sheet projects. We're going to be doing a lot of like spreadsheets and stuff, and so you'll want to make sure you uh, take a look at that, okay? And then 2.4 lecture notes. So as I've said before, try to get those lecture notes done before Monday because Elaine is going to be using that material to do worksheets on Monday, but technically it is due on Tuesday. Okay. It's always, yeah. So, oh, so are there any questions? Stella, did you have a question? Any questions from anyone?
Real quick, I was only a minute late. So am I pretty on topic as far as what you were going over?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Uh, Kevin, the only thing you missed is if you weren't here on Tuesday, make sure you watch the recordings
Oh,
from
we're
day
good.
one. Oh, just one of the recordings. You don't have to watch both. Okay. So, okay, great. Uh, let's jump in to our project. Okay. Now today we are going to be using StatCrunch, statcrunch.com. So if you weren't here on Tuesday, then you're going to need to do some steps in order to get access to statcrunch.com. Okay. So I actually, for the first time ever, got some screenshots for the steps that you need to do in order to um, access Pearson. Okay. Pearson is the company that owns StatCrunch.com. So there's a button right here that says Access Pearson. That's what you'll click on. So, but under, yeah, so right here you can see I've circled it. So you would click on that. So basically, in order to use StatCrunch, click on the technology links, and there's some steps that I've got pictures of. I've got screenshots on how to get into StatCrunch.com. Okay. If you were here on Tuesday, though, we talked about how to do that, and you should be good to go. Okay. All right. So let's start though with clicking on the Chapter 2 Project 1 in Canvas. Okay. And when you click on that in Canvas, it'll bring you here. And there is a link right here that says this link, open the Google document at this link, make a copy. Yeah. Okay. There's also a video down here on how to do the project. But like I said, we're going to do the project together right now. Okay. So you don't actually have to watch that video. Okay. The video is only there if, you don't come to the Zoom, but you guys are here. So great. All right, click this link and that'll bring you to this Google document. Okay. So this Google document is where we're going to fill out our answers for the Chapter 2 project. Okay. And we're going to be graphing some data with StatCrunch. Okay. Now, right now, you can't fill in your answers. I can't put my name in here yet because I don't own this document. This document is in the folder for all of the faculty and so I don't want you to edit this document, and you can't because then you'd be editing it for everyone. You need to make a copy. Okay. So to do that, you're going to go up here in the upper left. You're going to click on File, Make a Copy. File, Make a Copy. And you can name it whatever you want. I would love if you put your name in the file name. That way I'll know whose it is. Um, if you don't, that's okay. It's not a big deal. But right now, if I click make a copy, it's going to throw me an error because I can't save in this folder. This is the folder where the template is. I need to change what folder I'm looking at. So you can do if you click on My Drive, that'll work. Um, but I like to make a folder for all of my uh, for the entire class because we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing a lot of different projects, and so you might want to use them to study or whatever. And so, I don't want you to have to go search for them. So, I have a folder made for it. So, I'll select that folder and I'll click Make a Copy. So, again, how did I do that? So, I'm here in Canvas, and under day 2, I clicked on the Chapter 2 Project 1. And then where it says open Google document at this link, I clicked on that. That brings me to the Google document where I'm going to fill in my answers for today. I click File, Make a Copy, and then I named it and I selected which folder I wanted that to be saved in. Okay. All right. Now that I've done that, oh, and this is not fall anymore. This is the spring 26, but whatever. That doesn't matter. You don't have to change that. Okay, let's start filling in our answers. So your name, Joe Hopkins. Hey, I got 1 point. 1 point for your name. Okay, what data set did you choose? So what we're going to do is we are going to find a publicly available data set on statcrunch.com. Your data needs to have at least 2 qualitative variables and 1 quantitative variable. Okay. Okay, so let's type in, don't close this because this is where we're going to fill in our answers. Okay. But open a new window and type in StatCrunch.com. And here it is. This is StatCrunch.com. Okay. Now, if you click sign in or register in the upper right hand corner, you can fill in your uh, Pearson username and password that we did day one. Okay. If you weren't here day one, like I said before, you'll want to click on Access Pearson and click the purple button. All of those steps are here under the technology links and info. I have 5 pictures on what buttons you need to click. So after you click Access Pearson, you need to click this big Open Pearson button. Okay. Um, once you've done those 5 steps, you'll have your own uh, Pearson account username and password, and so you'll be able to uh, enter that in statcrunch.com. Okay. So here in statcrunch.com, click on the upper right, sign in or register. Once you've done that, this orange button will light up. We're not going to click the orange button. Uh, that's where we're going to go most of the time. But we're going to click on data sets over here on the left. Okay. When you click on that data sets, it'll bring you here. And this is just a bunch of publicly available data sets. Okay. So we don't have to build our own. Okay. And there's lots of different stuff in here. There's movies and Thanksgiving and New York leading causes of death. Okay. Superheroes. Yeah. All kinds of good stuff in here. Car models. Yeah. So we need to select one of these data sets, and I want you to select something that you're interested in, okay? So the projects give you a chance to work with your own data. So we're not all going to be using the same data on the projects. For the worksheets, the chapter review worksheets, all of our answers will be the same. But for the projects, you get a chance to work with data from the real world, okay? Um, yeah, and so just type something that you're interested in. So, I like games, so I'll fill that in and see what's here. Overwatch, I don't really play Overwatch. Chess, responses to video game surveys. Yeah. So when you're selecting your data set that you want to use, you need to select one that has, we said it needs to have 2 qualitative variables and 1 quantitative variable. Okay. It also needs to have enough data that it's interesting. So like some of these might not be big enough. So like let me clear this and let me show you an example. So uh, this one right here, professor salaries, the size is 7,376 kilobytes. That might be too small. Okay. So if I click on this, let me take a look at this data set. So I do have a qualitative variable for field and job title, but there's only 87 rows here. So this is not all of the professors in 2018 to 2019. There's only 87 of them. So it's not going to make for a good data set. So you need something that's bigger like this, like the superheroes one, that's 47,000 kilobytes. That one's big enough. You could use that one. The FIFA one, most of the sports ones are probably good. Sports have a ton of data. This one, 208,000 for Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving one is good. This movie box office one is probably works. Let me take a look at this one. Maybe not. So let me ask this. So our data set that we're selecting needs to have 2 qualitative and 1 quantitative. What is a qualitative variable? What is a qualitative column, a qualitative, you know, data? What is that? I know this. Categories. Thank you, Rachel. Qualitative is categories. Okay. So when we're talking about movies, those could be qualitative things would be like the genre or the studio that made it, the director. It could be, uh, yeah. We're talking about movies. It could be the rating. So like PG, PG-13. Those are all qualitative. Okay. All right. Then what's quantitative? What is a quantitative variable? Numbers. Correct. So quantitative will always be numbers. Now, if it is numbers, that doesn't 100% of the time make it quantitative because there are some qualitative numbers, okay? Because you can't do math on them. So for example, like if uh, the if I have a zip code is not quantitative. It is a number, right? But uh, if my zip code is 49277 and your zip code is 90210, your zip code is larger than mine. Does that mean your zip code is better? No. I mean, you can argue that it is, but uh, no, you can't do math on zip codes. You can't subtract them or add them or compare. This one's bigger than this one. Okay. So zip code is a number, but it is qualitative. Now, you need to be able, so if it's quantitative and you can do math on it, then it's a quantitative column. So you can compare those numbers, you can add them, you can subtract them, you can measure them, right? Um, so looking at this, um, I I have the month, which is qualitative, right? Because it's a word, it's not a number. But I don't have any other qualitative data. All of my other ones are numbers, right? This column right here, the movie, that's words, but this is not a qualitative column. This is a label, okay? A label is different from a category, okay? So a category has multiple things in it, right? So like genre, horror movies, okay? Some of these movies are horror, some are not, okay? But, you might have like 10 horror and, you know, 10 comedies and you might have a whole bunch of sci-fi, right? A label, on the other hand, is only going to have one thing. It's unique, okay? So this movie here, Titanic, is only going to show up in this list one time, okay? So a label or a name is not a category, okay? It's not a qualitative variable, okay? So I can't use this column, and so I only have one qualitative, so this one's not going to work. Uh, all right, I said that the superheroes one works. If you like cars, this one works. Car details. This one works. I've got lots of different columns that are words, okay, like sedan, yes or no. And a yes or no, there's only two categories, but that is still a qualitative variable. Basically, when you're looking for something, uh, when you're looking for a qualitative variable, a category, you need a column where uh, the entries in it are not all the same, because if they're all the same, then you have a single category, and that doesn't give you any data. And they also can't be all different because if they're all different, like this column right here, this is the name, this is a label. So you need to find a qualitative column, you need them all to be, you need them to be not all the same and not all different. Okay. So there needs to be some that are the same and some that are different. Okay. So yeses and nos, they're not all yeses, they're not all nos, so they're not all the same, they're not all different. You're good. Okay. SUV, yes, no. All of these yes and nos, those are all qualitative. Drive wheels is qualitative. Seating, we have a number here, or horsepower, those are quantitative. I can measure the horsepower and say This one's 201. This one's 321. Can I compare those and say that this MDX has more horsepower, is a more powerful car? Yes, I can. Okay, I can compare those numbers. I can subtract those numbers and say, oh well, it's 120 horsepower stronger. Okay, and that actually makes sense and means something. Okay, length, width, all those are quantitative. Wheelbase, that's all quantitative. So yeah, this one works. I have another qualitative variable over here, the parent company or company parent company headquarters. So I can use this. Okay. So Kevin's asking, what about eye color, hair color, race, sex? Those are all qualitative. Yes, those are all qualitative. hmm Um, yeah, so the superheroes one works. So the superheroes one, oh wait, I have lots of qualitative data, male, female, eye color. Those are all qualitative. Do I have quantitative? I need a column with numbers. Yes, you can use height or weight. I only need one quantitative. So, okay, so this one will work. Okay, so find something that you're interested in. Like I said, I like games. I'm gonna use I'm gonna use this video games data because it's got a million rows. So I'm going to use that one, which means that you guys cannot. Okay. So I want you to select a different data set from me. It's okay if multiple students use the same one, but I want you to use different data. I don't want you to just copy my answers. Okay. So Kelly was asking, so are names of songs qualitative? Again, if it's a name or a label, it's probably not going to work because you need them to not all be different. So, are there any songs that have the same name? Well, I guess there's a few, but like that's not a category, right? Um, that's a label, okay? That's a name, okay? So, when we do our bar graph, I want to see, like, I'll show you what it would look like. So, when I do my bar graph, uh, like this, I want to see a couple different bars, right? So if I did it on a name, it's going to look crazy and it's not going to be useful. I'll show you what that would look like. So let me go back to this guy, this one's soccer, and let me look at the names in here. So, uh, okay, so here's all of these people's names, all of these soccer players' names. What would the bar graph look like if I did it on this name? It's going to look like crap. See, this is saying that there's one person named Akuta Marcos. There's one person named Ali Alabua. There's one person named Hatan. There's two people named Carlos Sanchez. Okay. But this bar chart is not useful. Okay. Because it doesn't group anyone together. Everyone has their own name. So you get the same thing when you do names of songs. You're going to have one song of each name. They're not grouped together. Now, if you have, uh, so what would be some categories for songs? They could be like classical and, country and pop, and those are all categories, the type of music. Uh, you know, is uh, the song from a record? So what record label produced it? That's a category because they're not all different. There's some record labels that are produce multiple different types of songs. Okay. Um, what else would be a qualitative variable for a song? Maybe the tempo, fast, slow. I don't know. All right. So what you're gonna do? So what I want you to do is once you're here in StatCrunch, select something that you're interested in. So tell me what data set you guys selected. I'm curious. what you guys picked. And then once you've picked one, you'll click on it, you'll take a look, make sure it's got two qualitative columns. I mean, this one does. Superheroes, all right. Sounds good, Kevin. Superheroes, okay. So this FIFA one that I have here, this does have quality. This one will work. You just can't use names. So I could use position. Position is a good qualitative column, or the uh, your team. That's a good qualitative column. Um, Jersey number is not quantitative. Height and weight are, so you can use those, but jersey number is not, because if my jersey is okay, so this guy Nicholas, his jersey number is 3, and then this guy Christian, his jersey number is 22. Does that mean that Christian is better than Nicholas because his number is bigger or faster, or does he score more goals? No, that doesn't mean anything, right? The jersey number is a number, but not all numbers are necessarily quantitative because you can't do math on it. You can't do 22 minus 3 gives you 19, and that is Joshua. That doesn't make any sense, right? You can't add these two guys together and then that gives you some other guy. So, okay, so what else did you guys pick? I heard superheroes. I may pick something different. Thanksgiving. Nice. I like Thanksgiving. All right. So I'm doing the video games one. So let's go back to our Google document and see what questions we're going to answer next. Okay. All right. So question number 2, what data set did you choose? Paste the URL. So here in StatCrunch, this in the address bar, if you highlight the address bar and you right click and copy, or you can hold the control button down and hit C. Control C will copy that to your clipboard, which is just a mysterious place in the computer somewhere. But now that it's on the clipboard, if I come back over here to my Google document and I right click and I paste, or you can hold the control button down and hit V, control paste, that'll put in the link. So then when I'm grading it, I can click on that and I can see what data set you chose. Okay. All right. And again, like as we're going through this, if you have questions, if you need me to slow down, I don't want you to get lost, okay? Right? So we're gonna get 100% on this. Choose a qualitative variable to make a bar chart with. Which variable did you choose? Choose a qualitative variable. So it's something with words. All right, so let's come over here. Um, I'm gonna do uh let's see, I'll do favorite game type. Favorite game type. Okay. Maybe I'll do. Which one do I want to do first? No, I'll do gender first. I'll do gender first. All right, so we're gonna enter that right here. Okay. Create a frequency bar chart of this first qualitative variable. You'll do that by doing select graph, bar plot with data, and then paste it below. Okay. So we're gonna make a bar chart and we're gonna put it here in our document. All right, so what you'll do is in StatCrunch, you'll hover over graph, and then you don't have to click on it. You just hover over bar plot with data. Okay. Graph, bar plot with data. Okay. Then you're going to select which column you want to do. Select your qualitative column. I'm choosing gender and hit compute down here in the lower right. And here it is. Okay. So male, female, other. Oh, this is interesting. I have more female video gamers than male. That's interesting to see. Okay, cool. So we need to copy this bar chart into our Google document, into our answers. Okay. So there's three ways you can do that. Um, I'm going to show you my favorite way first, which is to use a screen shot. Okay. So uh, if I type in snipping tool, or there's Snagit, or there's a couple different ones. Every computer, whether you're on an Apple or Mac, there is a screenshot tool that you can use. And this is the snipping tool, okay? So if I hit new, it'll turn my cursor into a little plus, and I click and drag from left to right. So I click in the upper left, hold my mouse button down, drag it down to the lower right, and let go. And now I have this screenshot of my graph, okay? Uh, and then the nice thing about the snipping tool is it will copy it straight into your clipboard, but you can also right click on it, or hold Control and C, so you can copy it. And we'll come over here to our document for our answers for the Google document. And for number 4, I'll hold Control and V and paste my bar graph in here. Okay.
Can you go over that again as far as how to snip it like that?
Yep. Absolutely. So now I said there's three ways you can do it. I'm going to show you a couple other ways, but if you have your screenshot tool open, so this is the screenshot tool that I have. If you're on your phone, like if you're on an iPhone, you press the close button and the thumb button at the same time, and it'll take a screenshot, and you can save it that way. But anyway, for this one, I hit new. I click in the upper left where I want my snip to start, and then drag it down to the lower right. As I'm dragging it, can you guys see my screen where I'm dragging it down? Okay, cool. Excellent. And then I right click and copy it and then paste it. Okay. So that's one way you can do it. And that's the way I like to do it. I use this all the time. Whenever I'm doing my data analysis and my other job, I'm always, building charts and stuff and then, pasting them into emails and sending them to people, right? So, all right, if you don't want to do it that way, that's fine. The next option is if we have our chart right here. If you click options in the upper left and hit copy, that does not copy it. What that does is it opens this window where you can right click and copy image. Okay. Once you've done that, you can paste that into question number 4 instead. So right click and paste, and there you go. Okay, so that was options, copy, right click, copy image. Okay. Elaine, you like that one best? That one your favorite? Okay.
Yeah, it's just easy
Yeah, that one's fine.
because it's
So
copies and
that
paste it.
Yeah, so that works.
I just
That works when you're in StatCrunch. If I'm doing something in Excel, which is where I spend most of my time, uh, copying and pasting from a spreadsheet into an email, sometimes the formatting goes sideways, and so by pasting it as a screenshot, it's always going to save it the way I want it. But go ahead. What were you going to
so
say, Elaine?
yeah, where do you get snipping tool? Because I do Shift Command 3 because I have a Mac
Oh, you
for
have a Mac Shift. So
so
I have a Windows machine, and so if I just type snip, it is
okay.
installed already on your Windows
Oh,
computer.
okay.
If
All
you're
right.
not on Windows, there is some other screen grab. So you said it's Control Shift
Okay.
3. I'm gonna write that
Yes.
down. Mac.
Command Shift
Oh,
3.
yeah, you guys don't have a control. That's right.
Yeah.
Uh, Command Shift. Well, Kelly
Oh,
says it's
Kelly says
Command
hers
Shift
is 4.
4.
Mine is 3. Shift
Okay,
Command 3.
I'll let you guys fight it out which one's.
If you do
But
if you do 4, you can like do what he did where you can drag just a certain image.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you do three, it does the whole screen, if that helps.
And then you have to crop it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, then
All right. Good to know.
you do four, yeah.
I learn
Um,
something every day. Thank you.
correct. All right, the last option is you can do option download and name it whatever you want to name it, I guess. I'm gonna name it delete this because I'm not gonna keep it. But anyway, so that'll go to your downloads, and then you'll need to open your download folder. And now you guys can see all the things I've downloaded. You can open that up, and that'll open it in some kind of uh, picture viewing application. And so you can right click and copy and paste from there. Okay. So that was a third way you can do an options download. Okay. But then now it's saved in on your machine forever until you delete it, which is why I called it delete this. I'm going to delete it now. There you go. Goodbye. Okay. Once we have, oh, and by the way, so I just closed my bar chart. Uh so here's my bar chart. If you hit the X in the upper right, that will close it. But if you're like, oh no, I needed that back, don't worry, it's not gone forever. Up here in the upper left where it says Stat Crunch, there's a one next to it because I have one thing that's minimized. If I click on results, it'll let me bring it back. I'll show the hidden results. So that X actually doesn't close it, it just hides it. If for some reason you click on one of these bars, it'll turn everything pink. Um, don't worry, you can clear that. There in the lower left, there's a clear button. You hit clear and you're back to that. If you give me a pink thing, that's fine. Okay. Maybe we'll turn the female pink and leave the male blue. Although now I've got other as well. I don't know what color I should put for that. All right. Anyway, that's beside the point. Um, boys can wear pink too. I have a pink shirt. Um, now that we've done that one, question number 5. Create a relative frequency bar chart of the same qualitative variable and paste it below. Oh, wait. Yes, so we'll do that. So for this bar chart, if you have two things like yeses and nos, males and female, that's fine. If you have a couple of different categories, that's even better. That's even more information. If you have like more than 20 bars, your bar chart is probably going to start to be unreadable. Okay. So like if I had done favorite game type, so bar plot with data. No, I guess so this bar chart's fine. That's not 20 categories. That one's fine. I wouldn't worry about that. Um, does anyone have a bar chart that looks crazy? Because if you do, you're probably gonna want to change it to maybe a different data set. So let me go back to the soccer one. So if I had done club, so yeah, let me do bar chart with let me do it with club. Yeah, this bar chart is nuts. So Montez said you did team names. Yeah. So when you get more than 20 categories, more than 20 different things in here, like number one, you can't even read them all, right? I can't even see like this particular bar right here. I have to hover over it. Y- they don't all fit on the x-axis. Okay. Not only that, but like I can't tell what goes with what. Like this bar right here, I don't know what that goes with. On my data, I can clearly see that this bar is female, this one's male, this one's other. Okay. Even this one, like I guess this one I'm missing a label. So before I paste my answer, I'm going to want to expand that. So now I can see all the labels. Okay. A bar chart where you can't see all the labels is not the best. Okay. So in that case, you might want to select a different uh, a different qualitative variable. So a better one for the soccer one would have been position. There's only so many positions, right? This is a much better, easier to read bar chart. Hopefully you agree with that. So, yeah, I don't, when you enter your bar chart, make sure that, you're putting something in there that's useful. Because, part of your job as a data analyst when you're doing these statistics is to be able to present your results to other people, like maybe your boss or your, I, in past jobs, have worked very closely with like the CEO of the company. I never did anything with the president when I worked at the NSA, but there were some people, some of my coworkers, where their data made it to the president's desk. And it's like, if you can't read that, then, that is a problem, right? So anyway, um, okay. So once you've got your bar chart in here and it doesn't look crazy, it looks decent. Let's go on into question number 5. Create a relative frequency bar chart with the same qualitative variable and paste it below. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. All right, so that was our frequency one. We're done with that. So you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna go to graph, bar plot with data, and you're gonna select the same column again, but this time for the type, there's a drop down here where you're gonna select relative frequency. Okay. And then you're gonna hit compute. And here it is. Wait, I did something wrong. Why does it look the same? This is the one I just did, and I got the exact same result. So what? Why does it look the same? What did I do wrong? I'm asking you guys. What did I mess up? Are these the same graph? Good, sure. I like that answer, Montez. Today's not test day, right? Like, we're not in the midterm. So you guys are here to learn, right? So never feel bad about like saying like, I don't know, right? Y- You're in the class so that after we learn, you will know. Okay. So yeah. Um, they aren't the same. You are correct, Rachel. Uh, the relative frequency doesn't look like so. Um, if you look at the y-axis, my frequency is a count. It is counting how many people answered, how many people I have in my survey are female. I have 9,300 female video gamers in the survey, 7,400 male video gamers. Okay. Um, this one, if I hover over it, it's giving me a relative frequency. A relative frequency is a percent or a decimal or a ratio, okay? So this is saying that 53% or 0.53, 53% of the people who took the survey were female, okay? And then 42% were male, okay? So the bars, the graphs will look the same. When you're doing relative frequency versus a frequency, you're going to end up getting the same picture. What's different is the measurement. So if I had done this where I selected display the value above the bar, so you don't necessarily need to do that, but if I go options, edit, and then click this value above the bar, you can see that the bars are not the same value. This one's 0.53. This one's 9,384. Okay, but the so that's That's the difference. Relative frequency is always a number between 0 and 1. Okay, we're going to be dealing with a lot of numbers that are between 0 and 1, probabilities, proportions, percents. Okay, so I didn't do it wrong. Okay, so graph, bar plot with data, change your type to relative frequency, and we need a screenshot of this. So I'm going to use my snipping tool because that's what I like. So click in the upper left, drag it down. There we go. Right click, copy that. I'm going to copy that into question number 5. All right. Number 6. Choose a second qualitative variable to make a pie chart with. Which variable do you choose? Okay. So let's go back to our data set here. I need a different qualitative variable. So I'm going to close these ones. Again, they're not gone forever, but I'm going to go graph. Oh, wait, no, not going to graph it yet. I got to select one. Okay, so I did male. I did gender. Um, so let's do favorite game type. I did that a second ago. So that's what I'm going to select. Obviously, you're going to select something different because you're not using the same data set as me. Okay. I'm doing the video game one, which means you can't do the video game one, but you can do, any of the other ones I didn't do. Thanksgiving, soccer, superheroes, whatever. Okay. All right. Create a pie chart with the second qualitative variable pasted below. Pie chart. Oh, gross. Ugh. Pie chart. Oh, I hate pie charts. No, it's so, I mean, there's a time and place for them, but uh yeah, pie chart. So if you're a data analyst, there's a huge discussion and stigma about like how pie charts are not good. Um anyway, we'll do it. It's fine. All right, so go to graph, go to pie chart with data, and you're going to select the new qualitative column that you selected. So I'm doing favorite game type, and you'll hit compute. Ugh, this is my pie chart. Gross. Um, so again, if you do this and you just have yeses and nos or male, female, that's fine. You only have a couple categories. If you have more than 10, more than 15 categories, some of your pies, like this one here, are going to be so small you can't even see what it is. And that's a problem. So 2 categories is totally fine, Montez, and that is actually the right time to use a pie chart is when you have 2 or 3 categories. Okay. But if you have more than 15, you might want to select a different column because your pie chart is going to look crazy. Just like when I showed you that crazy, this one, the crazy bar chart that you couldn't read. Same thing happens if you try to do a pie chart with that. So like if I do a pie chart with data on team, like this is nuts, right? Uh, I can't even tell like this blue right here, which one this is unless I hover over it because they reuse that same blue here and the same blue here. Like, no, this is a terrible pie chart. This one would probably be fine as a bar graph, wouldn't it? Let me see. I want to see what the bar chart looks like for team. Nope, this looks terrible as well. Okay. Anyway, okay. Well, might not want to use this data set then. Oh no, I could use position was fine. Yeah, I don't know. This one's a mess. Okay. All right, well, here's my pie chart. It's fine. I'll use it. All right, copy that, and I will paste it here for number 7. So, um, yeah, I mean, so why am I so like, against pie charts? Well, so the human brain is very good at telling the area of a rectangle, being able to look at it and compare to rectangles, okay? Um, so a pie chart, on the other hand, these are not rectangles. These are curves, these are circles. Now, the human brain is not good at looking the area of pie slices and circles, okay? So, for example, like if I'm looking at this, which of these is bigger, the sports wedge or this um, real-time strategy neon blue wedge? Which of those is bigger? Now, obviously, you can look at the numbers and answer that, but the whole point of a visual is you can look at the visual and gather insights from that. If you have to use the numbers, then just use a table, okay? So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell which one of those is bigger, okay? Um, if I started adding things together, then it becomes a real mess, okay? Which of these is bigger, adventure or other? I mean, looking at it, I think the adventure one is a little bit bigger than other. But if I had done this as a bar chart, it would have been much better. It would have been much easier to tell if the sports is bigger or the real-time strategy is bigger. Let me show you. So I already did that one earlier. I closed it. And you don't need to, I'm going off on a tangent. I apologize for that. But if I look right here, here's my sports one. Here's my real-time strategy one. Even though they're not right next to each other, I can clearly see that the real-time strategy one is slightly bigger than sports. See that? But when I was looking at those pies, those wedges, it wasn't obvious, okay? The human brain is very good at looking at rectangles and being able to tell which one's bigger. I said action versus other. Oh, I can clearly see that the action one is way bigger than the other one, okay? So, or no, I said action, no, adventure. Okay, whatever. Um, anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, but pie charts are really only useful when you have 2 or 3 categories. If I'd done a pie chart on gender, I would have been, oh wait, no, that's the bar chart we did. If I'd done a pie chart on gender, I would have been okay with that. Yeah, see, I'm okay with this pie chart because I can clearly see that the female group is bigger than the male group, and that's because I only have 2 categories, okay? And they're right next to each other. This pie chart, though, this is crap. I would not present this in an analysis to my leader or my boss or the department head. I would definitely do this as a bar chart. So, okay, but that's what they asked for, so there it is. All right, moving on. Question number 8. Choose a quantitative variable to make a histogram with. So now we're going to look at quantitative. Quantitative is a number. So if a quantitative variable is organized by class, is it okay to use? Yeah, so that's a good question, Rachel. I would say the answer is yes. Okay. So organizing them by class, you can't really do math on it anymore. It does turn it into a quantitative variable. Now, when you do that, though, it's better to do it as a histogram, which is what we're going to do right now. But I'm fine with you using that, Rachel. That'll work. Okay, quantitative variable. Does age work for this one? Yes. Will age work for quantitative? Well, let me ask, can you do math on age? If I'm 45 and Elaine is 40, can I do math on those and subtract them? Yes, I can subtract them and say, oh, I'm 5 years older than Elaine. Or I can, can I add them together. Well, you can't really add them, but people do. They'll say, the two of us have 85 years of experience. People do that. So math does work for those, for age. Okay, so which quantitative variable am I gonna do? I am going to do, um, I'll probably do age for mine, because spent per year, it doesn't look like it has all of the values in there. Um, so like these look like they're all rounded, which is fine, but like did this person spend exactly $500 on video games a year? No, that's probably a factor of the survey. They probably only had certain options. They probably spent, $499.70 or something, whatever. So I'm going to use age for mine. So there's your answer, Kelly. Yes, you definitely can, because I'm using it. Yeah, I mean, you can use age for yours because you're going to have different ages. It's just the data sets. You can't use the same data set as me. You can definitely use the same column if it's there. Like you could have done gender if your data had gender. Create a frequency histogram of this quantitative variable. You'll select graph and then histogram. So let's do graph and then histogram. Now you'll select the column and you'll notice it doesn't have all the columns anymore because in order for it to be quantitative, in order to make a histogram, uh, it has to be a number and not all of my columns are numbers. So it's only going to give me the columns that are numbers when I ask for a histogram. So I'm going to do age and then I'm going to click value above the bar. You don't have to, but it makes this is a data label. It's going to make the chart a little easier to read. And when you're a data analyst, so that's not our job today. Today we're learning StatCrunch, okay? Learning how to use StatCrunch and the buttons, okay? But as a data analyst, when we're doing statistics, part of your job is to, do the math, which is what we're learning about in this class. But part of your job is also to then present that, interpret your answer, and make it easy for the person that you're showing, easy for them to understand. We're we're going to touch on that in this class, but there's a lot more that goes into it, making this look usable and making it nice for the reader. So anyway, so now that I've got this, this looks good. I'm going to use my snipping tool again and click here. All right, well so the problem with the snipping tool is if you mess up, like I cut off my the age label. I have to do it again. So as much as I love it, I will admit the snipping tool has one or two issues. That's fine. Paste it here. There it is. Okay. So when you're making a histogram, uh, just like with the bar chart, you don't want too many bars, but you also don't want too few bars with a histogram. So if I had done, uh, so we're not going to talk about all these options or whatever, but um, if I had made my bars too wide, this histogram sucks. Okay. I can't see what's going on here. Okay. Someone earlier mentioned that they had a bar chart that was skewed left or skewed right. Um, I can't tell that here. I mean, it looks skewed right. Okay. But uh, this is a much better, much more accurate picture of what's going on because you can see that I've got very few 1-year-olds doing video games that answered this survey. Okay. Um, versus, this one here looks like, oh, I've got 8,600 people between the age of 0 and 20. That's a huge range. A 1-year-old and a 20-year-old, that's a very different uh, you know, group of people. So if you make your histogram bars too wide, that is a problem. If you make them too narrow, that is also a problem. This histogram looks fine. I wonder what if I make it one. Well, that one looks fine too. I can't really read any of the bars anymore. I lose all my labels, so that's not great. But yeah, so I guess I can't really illustrate it here in this case, but um, when you are making your histogram, don't make your bars too wide and don't make them too narrow. StatCrunch automatically sets the widths of the bars, so you don't have to worry about that here. But, you know, uh, when you're dealing with your own data, it's something to be aware of, okay? All right. Question number 10. Create a relative frequency histogram, same quantitative variable. So I'm going to do age again, graph, histogram, and all I'm going to change is from frequency, change it to relative frequency. I still want the value above the bar and hit compute. Oh, I didn't select. I got to select age, and there it is. Okay. So 49% of my video game players are between 15 and 20. That makes sense, right? New. It looks like I've got some 80-year-olds playing video games. Nice. Okay. And I'll put that right here. And again, like we said before, your pictures are going to look exactly the same. The difference is that this is measuring how many people, and this is measuring what percent. So it's taking that count and dividing by the total, okay? So your pictures will look the same, but the y-axis will be different. Okay. Question number 11. Do your quantitative data appear to be skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric? Okay. So when we are measuring the skew of a data set, you have to be talking about a quantitative variable. Okay. If I come up here and I look at this, I have gender. Does this look skewed left or skewed right? Well, it looks skewed right because it's going down to the right, but that doesn't make any sense because if I switch the order, if I put the male bar first and the female bar second, then it's not skewed that way, okay? There's no inherent order between male, female, and other, okay? The same thing if I was looking at earlier when I had the game type, right? Is this skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric? That question doesn't make any sense because these bars are just in alphabetical order. If I put them in a different order, that order is just as valid, okay? So you have to have a quantitative variable to talk about skew left or skewed right, okay? All right, so for this one though, age is quantitative, okay? And I can see if it's skew left or skew right. So when I talk about skew left and skew right, the way I like to think of it is, if I've got this mountain here, would I like to, I'm at the top of this mountain, here I am. Would I like to ski to the left or ski to the right? Well, in this case, I don't want to ski off this cliff and die, so I'm going to ski to the right, so this is skewed right. That's the way I like to think of it. Okay. Uh yeah, that's one of the reasons I like the snipping tool because you can draw on it. So my data is skewed right because it has a tail off to the right. Okay. When I say a tail, I'm talking about this part right here. This is my tail right here. Okay. This is, I guess, a tail, but it's so small it doesn't really count. Okay. Hmm. There's a technical
So if
definition of
they
skew left and skew. Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
so if they have like missing numbers, is that just because they bend it a different way? So it's like 200, 400, 600, and the missing number is going to be like 5 to 6. Is that why there's missing?
Yeah, so on mine you can see that mine goes 0, 20, 40, right? Um, so what this
Well, right
histogram is
here.
doing is what's that? I can see
So
you. Turn it around now so I
there's
can see your
boom.
screen.
So
Yep.
it's missing.
So
Okay.
yep, it's missing those because there aren't any numbers in those buckets. Yep. So it looks like you've got some high outliers that are way out there to the right. Um, and so there might not be anyone in those gaps. So like so for mine, let's say that my data stopped at 80 years old, but then there was no one that played video games at 90, but then there was a person that played and they were 100 years old. I'd have a gap at 90, and then I'd have a bar out here at 100. Okay. That's what those gaps mean. And those gaps are perfectly fine. What those gaps represent are outliers. Okay. Okay, so what I was saying is there is a technical definition of skew left, skew right. Um, we'll talk about the technical definition, uh, which is if your mean is to the right of your median or to the left of your median. We don't need to worry about that right this moment, but yeah. So if your data looks like this, it's skewed to the right, and most of your data will probably be skewed right. Skewed right is more common than skew left. Um, and that's because most of the time we don't go into negatives, okay? But things can be outliers way off to the right. Like if I was looking at household income, I would stop at 0. If you have 0 income, I wouldn't go into the negatives, okay? But off to the right, there are definitely outliers. There's people making millions or billions of dollars way out to the right. Not very many, but that's why it's skewed right. If I was looking at something that is symmetric, it would look kind of like this, um, where I have a kind of a tail off to the left and also kind of a tail off to the right, and they're not necessarily exactly the same. Your data doesn't have to be perfectly mirrored for it to be symmetric. I would consider this symmetric, even though maybe this tail over here on the left is a little bit bigger than the tail over on the right. I would still consider that symmetric. Okay. All right, so do your quantitative data appear to be skew left, skewed right, or symmetric? So what Kevin showed a second ago was definitely skewed right. You had outliers off to the right. You had a tail off to the right. Okay. Okay, that's it. That's all the questions. So we now need to submit our answers in Canvas. So to submit the assignment, what you're going to do is you're going to go up here in the upper right, and there's a share button, and you're going to click on share. And you need to change the axis. Right now, you are the only person that can see this. If you share it as is, I will not be able to look at it. So I need to be able to grade it. So you're going to click on this button right here, and you're going to change it from restricted to anyone with the link. So now anyone who has this link can look at your document. Okay. And then you're going to click copy link, and it'll copy it to your clipboard. And then we're going to come over here to Canvas and scroll down to the bottom. Oh, wait. I gotta view a student. So here in Canvas, we're going to submit our assignment. So we're going to scroll to the bottom, and there's a button here for web URL. And if you click on that, you can right click and paste, or hit Control V and paste the link that was just copied to your clipboard. You don't have to upload, you don't have to scan this as a PDF, using your cam scanner on your phone or whatever, because we can just do the web URL. We will have to upload it when it's on paper. Okay. But now I can submit assignment and we'll get some confetti. All right, I got rockets this time. And we're done. That's it. Okay. So again, what I did was in my Google document, I'm finished with my assignment. I'm going to click share, change it to anyone with the link, copy that link, and web URL, paste that in there, and submit assignment. Okay. Now I got balloons. Okay. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Now I did record this entire session. Okay. So normally I won't be recording the entire session. I'll be recording, giving you some hints and stuff. But since this is our first time using StatCrunch, I want to make sure that everybody is able to follow along and everybody's able to use it. So if you need to rewatch it, go ahead. For those of you who didn't get to come to the Zoom, you got to watch the entire thing. But for next time on Tuesday, we're going to do the Chapter 2 review. I'll only be recording the hints. We'll do the entire assignment in class and submit it, okay? But that's it for today. I'm going to stop the recording. If anyone has questions, feel free to stick around and I'll go over those. For those of you who don't have questions, hope you have a good weekend. Lane will see you on Monday, and I will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah. Have a great